Welcome everyone, welcome to week 4 of 9 of the 2022 Global Trophy. I'm joined alongside
Sam Elliott 64, and yes, it is our final preliminary league, the Americas preliminaries. It's going to take quite a big effort for them to kind of match the hilarity of last week and how close it was.
Yeah, definitely. I don't even know why it's called the Americas Preliminary League. We might as well just call it the Central Americas Preliminary League.
Because one day it might not be. It might not be one day.
Well, that depends on how bad Bolivia go, to be honest.
This is true. Or like Venezuela or something.
Venezuela are actually doing pretty decently. They're above Ecuador.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting they have that Martinez guy, don't they? He plays for Atlanta United, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, yes, it is the Americas Preliminary League, the last preliminary league. Next week, obviously, is the European Qualifiers. And we get into the big meat of the Global Trophy with that. So, let's get straight into the Americas Preliminary League. So, our dud team, as we mentioned last week, is Aruba.
Indeed, Aruba, not being able to participate, but they are going to give away a very nice 45 goals evenly to all 15 other teams.
Proof of equality, Aruba. Fair play to you, folks.
Exactly.
Next up, it is the Cayman Islands.
This is where you go to be dodgy with fraud, isn't it?
Oh crap, I didn't know it was illegal. Probably that.
Possibly.
Next up, it is Dominica.
Yes, not Dominican Republic, Dominica. They're a team. They're a nation.
Okay, next up is...
Sorry.
It's Cuba next.
They have missiles, or they did have missiles in the 80s, didn't they? Was that the thing?
Cold War.
That was it.
That was, because Russia moved their missiles to Cuba, so they could hit the US if needed. And that was all because the US already had their missiles in Turkey.
It's a bit dodgy, isn't it?
So it could hit Russia, so...
Stall for a minute, I'm just going to let my cat in.
Yeah, no worries. Next
up... Go through some teams while I'm gone.
Okay, cool. Next up, we'll go with Montserrat, who are, a pretty popular footballing nation in the early history of the Global Trophy. They used to lose by quite a lot of goals, but they've been able to sort of fight back here, so you never know. Maybe they'll be able to do well, I guess, even though it's like Pompeii, but an island. Next up is one of the 3 Saint teams, St. Lucia. Conveniently, actually, there are only 2 of the Saint teams. There's usually St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines, and St. Lucia. But this year, there's only 2 of them. Yes.
Hello, I'm back. St. Lucia, cool. Nice country.
Yep. I was just mentioning that we usually have, obviously, the 3 Saints in the preliminary league, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Vincent, and St. Lucia.
And there's
However,
only 2 this year.
Not this year.
Yeah, there's just the 2.
It is just the 2. One of them has actually already pre-qualified.
On FIFA ranking?
Yep.
Wow.
Have a guess to see if it's St. Vincent or St. Kitts and Nevis.
We'll find that in a bit.
Next up, it is Guyana.
Is it French Guyana or the other Guyana?
Just Guyana, I believe.
Cool. Okay. I believe French Guyana is its own separate country, isn't it?
It is. I'm not sure if they've got a team. If they do, it's, well, a lot lower than ordinary Guyana, I'd say.
Okay.
To be fair, it'd be funny if it was the other way around, wouldn't it? It'd be the equivalent of Netherlands Antilles being better than the Netherlands.
This is true. This is true.
Next up, it's the other Saint. St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Oh, so St. Kitts and Nevis have pre-qualified. Interesting. Okay. I mean, they do tend to qualify anyway, don't they?
Yeah, they usually do quite well. St. Vincent are usually up there.
Yeah, they're not too bad. They're not too bad.
Yeah. Next up, it is Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. Yeah, it's a beautiful part of the world, apparently. It's a shame they got hit by that hurricane a few years ago.
Yeah, definitely. With Sam's terrible Mexican impression out of the way.
It wasn't terrible. It was pretty good, I thought. Let's move on.
His Twitter handle is it below. Next up, it is Belize.
I can't believe it.
Go back to the accent. Next up, it is Grenada. Do not mention the explosive.
Well, I was going to say it's an old model of Ford, isn't it? It's Grenada, isn't it? I don't know.
I believe it's pronounced Grenada, I think.
Comments!
The Ford Grenada is pronounced Grenada.
Right, okay.
But I believe the country might be pronounced slightly differently.
Okay.
Hopefully they can explode onto the scene. Who knows?
Oh dear, there it is.
Next up is Bermuda.
They love their triangles. I always used to think that was a weird thing that like the Bermuda Triangle was like a big thing, but it really wasn't. Oh, I don't know.
I thought when I was younger, Bermuda invented the pyramids, and that's why they were the Bermuda Triangles.
Ah, interesting. I mean, I suppose the Mayans would be around that kind of reach of the world, wouldn't they? So I guess.
Oh yeah, the ones that have predicted the end of the world like 44 times, and it hasn't every single time.
Give it time. They'll get one right eventually.
God, I've been on so many riots for nothing. Next up, Barbados.
Yes, Barbados. Again, apparently a beautiful part of the world.
Yes, and they have a trident on their flag, so
They do.
all good for me.
Yeah.
Next up, Dominican Republic. We have already seen them.
We have.
But now they're competing themselves.
Yeah, we saw them in the Asian section representing New Caledonia. They're here to go through their second preliminary league. Let's see if they can do it.
Yeah, they were able to make it through the Asian one, so that's pretty good for them.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Next up, Nicaragua.
Nicaragua, yes, another Central American team, hoping to possibly make it through.
And last but not least, the number one ranked team in this preliminary league, but that means jack shit apparently. Suriname.
Have you heard the story about the vice president of Suriname? He owns a football team in Suriname, and occasionally he plays himself because he's the owner. Apparently he's an absolute nut job. Supposedly, allegedly, he's a nut job, and he's
a giant narcissist.
Well, there's that, but also he ended up I can't remember what it was, but he gained all his wealth from being a rebel faction leader in Suriname, and he's wanted. He has a warrant for his arrest in the Netherlands and all sorts. It's crazy.
Oh, geez, the things that they let people get away with in different other countries. What are you Googling this? Oh. We'll save that one.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah,
It's fine. I'm recording again.
Good.
Yeah. So, little technical issue there. Sorry, guys. My cat stood on my keyboard.
Damn it, Terry.
Oh, he's beautiful though. He's a beautiful boy.
Good thing he is a good boy.
Well,
but he wasn't a good boy then.
No, he wasn't. He just likes keyboard. I actually have a decoy keyboard on my desk. My old desk upstairs, so he can just sit on that one and not my actual one.
To be fair, cats just do like getting in the way of what you're doing.
They love it.
They do. It's like, pay attention to me.
I'll pay attention to you anytime, Terry. He's sat on my lap now. He's very warm. It's good. It's good stuff.
Well, it's actually December 1st now, so you know.
It is indeed.
And the country's being battered by rain. At least my part of it is.
Yeah, it wasn't a nice drive home today, I'll say you that much. Anyway, let's talk about the Americas preliminary league. And we start off with our dud team.
Yep, and Barbados getting 3 points on the board immediately. There's really sort of two places where you want to get it. You either want to get them at the start or at the end.
So for that momentum, yeah.
Yeah. Aruba's got quite a nice flag, to be honest.
I like the blue. The blue's quite a nice pale blue, isn't it? It's good.
I like the yellow as well. I wonder why I like blue and yellow.
Well, I mean, Barbados has a very blue and yellow flag.
Yeah, they got blue and yellow as well. I love both these teams. I
you...
wonder why I like blue and yellow so much, even though my favourite colour is red.
Couldn't tell you. Hello, Terry.
Should I change the Masterath logo to red and white? No.
I think you could. Don't reckon you get away with it.
I probably could, but I like the blue and yellow combination a lot. So
that's fair enough.
Probably not changing. Next up is Belize versus Bermuda. Battle of the Bees.
Yep, to try and topple the B at the top, Barbados.
It is a draw between the two. They could not topple the B at the top.
No, but now it's a battle of the seas between
Battle of the Seas. Cuba versus the Cayman Islands.
Can Cuba get off to a winning start? I think they're probably the favourites here.
3-0 win. Good start there for Cuba.
Yeah, it is a good win there. And move themselves level on points behind Barbados on alphabetical order.
Yep, that's all it boils down to at the moment, but we do still have 14 fixtures to go for all these, so
we do.
That's
probably gonna change at some point.
Next up, it's Grenada versus Dominica.
Yep, should be an interesting fight.
1-0 Dominica. It's scrappy, but they were able to make it through and win that battle.
3 points on the board and a good start for Dominica.
Yep, Montserrat now, legends of the Global Trophies old history for being one of the teams that used to let in a lot of goals. Versus Guyana.
Will they let in a lot of goals against Guyana? I don't think so, though.
2-0. 2-0 for Guyana. Good start for them.
Yeah, good start for Guyana. Montserrat will need to probably do a little bit better than that.
Yep, Puerto Rico now versus St. Lucia.
How will they kick off with their first game?
5-1 St. Lucia. Big win.
Yeah, big win. Puts them top on goal difference at the moment, but obviously we have played one game.
Just a single game. Dominican Republic now versus St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Probably a win for Dominican Republic here is probably the most likely outcome.
Nope, St. Vincent get the win, 1-0.
Good result for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And our final fixture of Game Week 1 is Suriname and Nicaragua.
Yep, top two highest ranked teams in this preliminary league. And it's a 5-1 win for Suriname.
Good start for Suriname there.
Bet that bloke scored 3 goals.
I'm going to look this up now. I need to remember this guy's name. Hang on. I'll Google it. Carry on for now.
Yep, hat-trick bloke. Next up, it's Belize versus Aruba.
Interesting way it's going to go here.
Well, no, it's Aruba.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Belize's flag is Laos's flag, but with Julius Caesar stuff on it and then something in the middle that just looks like eat, sleep, repeat.
Yeah, here you go. So the guy's name is Ronnie Brunsvike. He's a Surinamese politician, businessman, footballer, former rebel leader, and the current vice president of Suriname. He served in the 1980s as the personal bodyguard of Desi Bouterse, who overthrew the government in 1980 in a military coup.
God, they're still using tactics from like the Napoleonic eras.
Yep, and he's 60 years old.
Oh. So whatever team that he plays for, unless he's an athletic beast at 60 years old.
He is not. He is not that. He's a big boy. I think his son plays for them as well.
Oh, he's a mega chonker.
I wouldn't say he's a mega chonker, but I'd say he's thick.
He's a chonker. He ain't an oh lord he coming yet. He's not that.
No, not quite.
No, because that's me. I'm the only one that's allowed that. Anyway, next up, Barbados versus Bermuda.
Barbados with a winning start. Bermuda losing their first game. Oh no, sorry, drawing their first game.
Yep. And it's another draw. Not great for Bermuda, but I guess I'll take that to draw against Barbados.
Yeah, Barbados probably one of the favourites to win this, so you have to say they're decent team.
Yep. Dominica now versus the Cayman Islands.
Cayman Islands didn't get off to the greatest start. Neither did Dominica. They got up 3 points and a win in their first game.
Cayman Islands get the win, 2-1 over Dominica.
Good result for Cayman Islands there, moving themselves up to 9th place.
Yep, good win there. Next up, it's Cuba versus Grenada. Grenada, who lost their first match. Cuba won their first match, 3-0.
Indeed.
Grenada, 2-1 win. Moves them up into 9th at least.
Yep, for the time being. Next up is Guyana, who won their first game 2-0, and Puerto Rico, who did not win their first game 2-0. They lost.
Yeah, they got buggered.
Yeah, they lost 5-1.
Well, they drew this one at least. Guyana move up into 3rd. That's close already so far. Look at that.
Yeah.
No one's on 6 yet.
Well, St. Lucia have the opportunity to do so. They take on Montserrat, who lost their first game, so they could add insult to injury here, St. Lucia.
Yep, 3-0. St. Lucia with a 2-point lead already with 2 games gone.
Good start for them. They can be joined on 6 points by St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but only if they beat Nicaragua.
Yep, who lost their first match. They do win, so that the 2 Saints right up there at the top.
Why doesn't St. Lucia have a dot?
I was about to mention that, actually, and I'm there going, terrible programming error from Anko, isn't it?
Yeah, why does one have a dot and one doesn't? I'm just confused.
Maybe St. Lucia's just Lucia.
Oh,
Maybe it stands for striker. Maybe it's striker Lucia.
Or Stelucia, that's just their full name.
Stelucia.
Stelucia.
It sounds like strudel.
Yeah.
Strudel. Stelucia.
Yeah.
Next up, it is Suriname versus the Dominican Republic.
Suriname, of course, with that big 5-1 win to start things off. Dominican Republic losing their first game.
It's a 1-0 win for Suriname. They split the Saints.
They do and go second place in the league at the moment, and we move on to Game Week 3, which starts off with Bermuda picking up 3 points against Aruba.
Some needed 3 points, but Bermuda haven't lost a game yet.
No, they haven't.
So...
They've got 5 points on the board, 2 draws, and now a win over the Dud team, which puts them, I think, in 4th place, something like that.
I believe it does, yeah, because there's only 3 on 6 at the moment, and the rest are on 4.
At best, yeah.
So yeah, they're on 5. So yeah, decent 4th place for Bermuda. I'd say that's a decent place to get the Dud team there.
Yeah, so far so good for Bermuda.
Yeah, definitely. It's Frank Spencer's brother who got the man of the match there. Fair enough.
Oh dear. Belize and Barbados. Belize have already played the Dud team, as have Barbados actually. They both played the Dud team already, and they will now play one another.
Yep, both on 4 points so far. 5th versus 6th. Big win for Belize there. 2-0. They move up into the first for now.
Yep, good start for Belize, and again unbeaten as well.
Yep, Cayman Islands now. They fought back in the last match. Now they have Grenada, both on 3 points.
They both lost their first game, both winning their second.
And Grenada get the win. Move up to 5th with a 1-0 win.
Good result for Grenada.
Dominica now, currently in 10th versus Cuba in 9th. There's a lot of close battles at the moment here.
Yeah, there's no real team stamping a code yet, is there really?
Not at the moment. Cuba get the win here, though. 3-1 over Dominica.
Good result for Cuba, that. St. Lucia, Guyana next up. St. Lucia, of course, on 6 points, winning their first 2 games. And Guyana, 1 win and 1 defeat. Oh, sorry, 1 win and 1 draw. And another draw.
Well, it's a draw. St. Lucia aren't going to go completely perfect this run, but...
The only team that now can
close.
Is St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
And Suriname.
And Suriname, yes, of course.
So those are the only 2 that can. Montserrat, Puerto Rico next.
Montserrat down towards the bottom, Puerto Rico just above them in 12th place.
And it's a 4-0 win for Puerto Rico, and that only moves them up like 2 spaces up to 10th.
It does, but it's a good result, and it balances out that goal difference as well. So that's a good result for them. Oh dear,
yep,
Montserrat.
Definitely.
Oh, Montserrat. You're bottom. You're below Aruba, kids. What's going on?
Montserrat. Next up, it's Suriname. Oh, Suriname St. Vincent. Well,
one of the perfect runs is guaranteed to end. Maybe both of them.
Maybe both of them will end. It does!
Wow.
No one's getting full points this time round.
Nope, there's no runaway leader as well. Look at that. 4 teams on 7 points after the end of Game Week 3.
2 on 6, 2 on 5, 2 on 4, 2 on 3. The rest are bugger all.
Both of those as well at the bottom here. Nicaragua and Dominican Republic are on 0 points. That will change here.
It's a win for Nicaragua, and it moves them up 1 space.
1 space isn't better than none, and Dominican Republic now in 14th place as Cayman Islands take on their Dud team, Aruba.
I mean, this is close at the start already, so...
It is very close.
It's pretty much a win could move you from, like, 9th to 1st kind of thing. Oh, okay, maybe not 9th to 1st. 9th to 5th, at least. Maybe 9th to 1st in a couple of years. Who knows? But that would be if, like, Montserrat just starts tearing shit up.
Well, you never...
We're with you, Montserrat.
We're in solidarity. In solidarity.
Tear shit up. Barbados, currently in 10th place, versus Cuba, currently in 5th.
Good start for Cuba as well. 2 wins and a defeat so far.
To win for Barbados, they move up to 4th.
Onto that mythical 7 points.
Yep. Belize now, currently on 7 points, versus Dominica on 3, down in 12th place.
Dominica need to start to get going, really, don't they? But win here for Belize, putting them on 10 points will make them look very pretty.
Oh, it's a draw between the 2.
I think that's probably a better result for Dominica there, because I think Belize are one of the stronger teams in this.
I'd certainly say that, yeah. To get some points off Belize, that's pretty good going there from Dominica.
Absolutely.
It's Grenada Bermuda next.
Bit of a mid-table clash, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit of a mid-table clash there. 7th versus 9th, 1 on 6, 1 on 5. And Bermuda get the win.
And go top from 9th.
See? Nuts. Did I say 9th to 1st?
There you go. And they've done it.
I did.
They've done it.
And I got laughed at for it.
They have gone 9th to 1st in one game.
Hashtag Masterath was right.
First time for everything.
Finally.
You've waited so long.
No. That's got to be on the hashtag as well. It's got to be hashtag Masterath was right.
Finally.
Right, anyway. Enough about all these hashtags, because no one's going to do that anyway. I know. Logan might. Next up, it is St. Vincent versus Guyana.
It is indeed. St. Vincent undefeated, as are Guyana, although St. Vincent has 2 wins to Guyana's 1.
Win for St. Vincent. They move up to 1st.
First team to break double figures, 10 points, and they are top of the table.
Yep, next up is Dominican Republic versus Montserrat. A big gutter ball match, this one.
A big win for Dominican Republic could put Montserrat back to the bottom.
Nope, it's only 1-0 Dominican Republic moves them up 1 place.
Yep, above Nicaragua, who play next against Puerto Rico in 11th place.
Puerto Rico get the win there and move up to 6th.
Good result for Puerto Rico there. And St. Lucia undefeated against Suriname.
Undefeated.
Yeah.
5 teams undefeated so far. Now it's only 4. St. Lucia lose to Suriname, who move top.
Good result for Suriname there. And Cuba, as we move on to Gameweek 5, take on our dud team, Aruba.
Yep, we were going to get some lovely 3 points there, so fair play to Cuba.
Absolutely. It's, looking good for Cuba at the moment. I think they've had a decent enough start.
Yeah, I mean, if you're sort of in that, I wouldn't say mid-table, but sort of like high-ish mid-table position, then as long as things don't go wrong, just sort of stick it there and you should be okay. So Cuba have got a pretty decent shout here, but it is so close when it comes to points, even at this point. Nearly a third of the way through. Yeah,
it's very tight. I mean, there's as we said already, there's no team really running away with it as well. Like, separating 1st and 10th is only 4 points.
Yeah, exactly. Barbados and Cayman Islands, 2 of those teams at the bottom half of that top 10.
Yep, Cayman Islands on 6 points with 2 wins. Barbados has 2 wins as well on 7 points.
Barbados win 2-0 and move up to 3rd.
Good result for Barbados. And next up is Grenada. And they take on Belize. Belize in 6th place at the moment, undefeated so far. Grenada, 2 wins and 2 defeats.
It's a draw between the 2. It's not looking good for Belize now.
No, Belize in 5th. It's not a bad result, but it's not a great one.
It's another draw for Belize. Grenada will take that, I think, at this point.
I think they will indeed.
Bermuda now versus Dominica. Bermuda currently in 6th place. Dominica down in 12th.
A win for Bermuda puts them top of the pile.
It is 2-1. Bermuda go top.
They do indeed, still undefeated as well after 5 games, which is a great effort from Bermuda.
Yep. Guyana now take on the Dominican Republic.
Guyana in 11th, Dominican Republic not in 11th, they're below that, they're down in 13th place. A win for Guyana maybe lifts them into contention.
It's a win for Dominican Republic.
They move to 10th, good result there.
Yep, they move above Guyana, if anything, so that's very good for the Dominican Republic. That moves them into contention.
It does indeed. Next up is Montserrat and St. Vincent. St. Vincent with a win go top. They are undefeated so far. Montserrat yet to win a game, yet to score a point. It's not looking good for them.
No, it's 3-0. 3-0 St. Vincent.
Easy peasy for St. Vincent, and they go top of the pile.
Can Suriname match it? They've got Puerto Rico, who currently lie in 8th.
Yep, we'll have to see how it goes.
It's a draw between the 2. St. Vincent have a bit of daylight.
Yep, 2 points clear now of Suriname in 2nd place, and Bermuda, of course, who are trailing them. St. Lucia take on Nicaragua.
Yep, St. Lucia down in 8th place. They're not now. 4-0 win moves them up to 4th.
It does indeed. That's a good result for St. Lucia. As we move on to game week 6, it's now Dominica's return and turn to Aruba for 3 points.
Yep, and that's gonna move them up to 9th place.
It's very close.
From essentially 13th, which is as close to oblivion as you want to get.
Yeah, it's really close at the moment. They need to string a few good results together, I think. But
yeah,
I think they'll be happy with how they're doing.
Bar Montserrat, obviously. I think any of these teams, if they can string a couple of wins together, they can rocket up the league. It's that close at the moment.
The level of quality between all of them is very, very similar.
Apart from Montserrat.
Of course.
I mean, look at that. It's not brilliant for Montserrat, really, is it?
No, not really. Not at all.
Next up, Barbados. Currently in 5th place versus Grenada in 10th.
Interesting one this could
3
be.
points separate the two teams here.
Yep.
And Grenada win! Closing the gap to 0.
Good result for Grenada, and they move into 6th place. Barbados dropping points there. Not looking good. Well, so good for them now.
Yep, but can Belize get back to winning ways? They've got the Cayman Islands in 12th.
A win for the Cayman Islands will lift them onto the same amount of points as Belize, but Belize with a win moved 2nd.
Here's 2-1 Belize. Belize back on winning form.
They are indeed, and they moved to 2nd place on 12 points. They're still undefeated, Belize, which is a great achievement for themselves.
Yep. Cuba Bermuda next. Cuba currently in 8th. Bermuda in 4th.
Can go top with a win, Bermuda. They are also undefeated currently.
A draw between the two is not enough for Bermuda.
No, they move up into 2nd place above Belize on goal difference. I think Cuba will take that point.
Yeah, I'd say so. It moves them up into 6th for now, with a pretty decent goal difference.
It does.
Have you seen Cayman Islands For's and Against record, by the way?
Nice.
Nice!
That is a dirty noise.
A dirty noise indeed. T-shirts coming soon. Guyana now taking on Nicaragua in a big gutter ball match.
Yep, Guyana with 5 points down in 13th. Nicaragua with 3 points in 14th.
It's a draw between the two.
But they both pull away from Montserrat, and that's the main thing. Montserrat, as we mentioned them, next on against Suriname.
Yeah, that was never going to end well.
No, it wasn't.
3-1 win puts Suriname into 1st for now. They will stay there unless St. Vincent beats Puerto Rico.
Yep, St. Vincent up in 2nd place, undefeated. Puerto Rico in 9th.
5-0 St. Vincent.
Good result for St. Vincent and the Grenadines there.
Yep, St. Lucia now take on the Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic have moved all the way up into 11th right now.
Yeah, they take on the team currently in 5th place. A win for St. Lucia puts them 3rd.
It's a draw between the two. They stay level.
I think that's a good result for Dominican Republic against one of the better teams in the bracket, really, isn't it?
Yep, definitely. And Grenada is going to move 3rd with a win here over our lovely dud team, Aruba.
Yep, very generous once again, Aruba, as we move on to Gameweek 7.
Yep, it's still close up there, I'd say.
2 points separates, I think, 8th to 3rd or something like that, or something crazy.
Yeah, it's still nuts. St. Vincent are starting to slowly get away.
Yeah, I think they're looking pretty favourable, as are Suriname. Everyone else behind those, I think they're fair game to be caught, really, aren't they?
Yeah, I'd certainly say so. There's not much in it.
No, not at all.
At the moment, Dominica now take on Barbados. Barbados in 8th, Dominica in 10th.
A win for Dominica could lift them above Barbados with a goal swing of 4, so 2 goals needed for Dominica to beat Barbados by.
It's a 4-0 win for Barbados. They move up to 3rd.
Good result for Barbados. They're putting a little bit of daylight between them and the chasing pack. Next up is Belize and Cuba.
Yeah, Belize down in 6th, Cuba in 8th. 3-1 win for Belize. They move 2nd.
They're still undefeated as well. Look at that.
Yep. Bermuda now take on the Cayman Islands. Bermuda currently in 6th place. Cayman Islands in 13th.
A win here for Bermuda will lift them back up into 2nd place briefly.
It's a win for Cayman Islands.
That is a monster result for the Cayman Islands, and they're now into 9th place and 1 point off that magical 8th.
Exactly. Can Guyana do the same? They've got Suriname, who could go top with a win.
Yep, Suriname undefeated so far.
3-1 Suriname, they go top for now.
I just want to say as well, Bermuda, that was their first defeat.
Yeah, they've lost
against
to the nice team.
Against the Cayman Islands, yeah. And next up is the absolute gutter match of all gutter matches. It's Nicaragua and Montserrat.
Can Montserrat actually win this one? Nope, they have got a point though.
Yep, they're off the mark. Good result for Montserrat. Nicaragua will be probably a bit disappointed by that, won't they?
Yeah, definitely. Puerto Rico now in 10th versus Dominican Republic in 11th.
A win for either team does lift them into that kind of conversation, doesn't it?
Yep, certainly does. It's a draw. That lifts them nowhere.
No, they're both on same games played now, behind Cayman Islands.
Yeah, Cayman Islands have made massive gains in that fixture.
They have indeed. And the two Saints take each other on in St. Lucia and St. Vincent.
It's another draw, but I don't think St. Lucia would take that. I think St. Vincent will probably be happier to take that at this point.
True, but I think also St. Lucia, against the best team potentially in this bracket, got a point out of them. So I think they'll absolutely take it.
Yeah, fair enough. Guyana, currently languishing in 13th, is going to get 3 points here against Aruba,
It will
which will move them back in the contention, at least for now.
Yeah, move them into 9th place. So it's a good effort for Guyana, and, again, it's 3 points that they need to get at a crucial time, so, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty crucial time when it's this close.
Exactly.
Those 3 points right at the end could clinch it.
It really could. Like, depending on who gets that dud team on the last fixture, it could make a massive, massive difference.
Definitely. So, with that, Guyana move up into 9th place.
Montserrat take on Barbados. A win for Barbados lifts them into 3rd place.
A win for Montserrat lifts them nowhere, because they're that bad.
Yeah, basically.
2-0 Barbados, they'll take that.
They will indeed. 16 points for Barbados now.
Belize, back up into 4th, takes on Puerto Rico, currently in 11th.
Win for Puerto Rico lifts them above Cuba into 8th place.
3-1 Belize, they go top.
They go top for now, yes. Big crunch match now in that kind of difficult 6th to 8th area. St. Lucia and Bermuda. Bermuda lost their first game in the last game week. St. Lucia have only lost one game as well.
It's a draw between the two. I don't think that's going to cut it.
They lift both of them above Grenada for the meeting time, though.
Yep, St. Vincent now take on the Cayman Islands.
St. Vincent can go top with a win here.
It's a draw between the two. Cayman Islands with another shock result.
Good result for Cayman Islands, I think.
Yeah, I'd certainly say so against St. Vincent. Dominican Republic now take on Cuba. Cuba need a win here because there's starting to be a bit of daylight.
Yep, a win for Dominican Republic, however, will lift them above Cuba and the teams around them.
Another draw.
Not really good enough for either team there, is it?
No, not in that sort of choke point there. I certainly wouldn't say so.
Nope.
Dominica now take on Nicaragua in a bottom feeder match.
Yep, 13th plays 14th.
Win for Nicaragua. They move above Dominica.
They do indeed, and move on to 8 points.
And to finish off fixture number 8, Grenada versus Suriname to go over halfway in this.
Suriname can go top here with a win for the first time.
They have 3-0 Suriname top now.
Good result for Suriname.
Montserrat going to get their 3 points now.
Yeah, they're one and
against Aruba, but I don't think it really matters.
They're one and probably going to be only win for Montserrat.
Probably, yes. But it would be nice if they could maybe get a couple more draws to make it competitive, but this is Montserrat. They are legends of the very, very, very old Global Trophy back in like 2005, 2007.
Yeah, bless them.
Where they were in all the Global Trophy qualifiers, but never made it, of course. Next, fixture number 9, Guyana, currently in 10th, versus Barbados in 4th.
Big match here for Barbados. A winner here for Barbados lifts them into 2nd place for the time being.
It is. Close match, though, but 3-2 is enough.
Yep, good result for Barbados. Guyana starting to slip off the pace a little bit now.
Yep, St. Lucia. Look at the difference in points between St. Lucia and Belize. St. Lucia could get a big win here and get right into that top 5.
Yeah, that top 4 is starting to pull away a little bit now from the rest of the pack, isn't it?
A draw, I don't think is going to cut it for St. Lucia. That allows teams below them to catch up.
Belize still undefeated, though. Look at that. 9 games gone.
Yep, Bermuda now take on Puerto Rico.
A win for Bermuda will lift them above St. Lucia again. Puerto Rico, a win for them will lift them above Cuba.
2-0 Bermuda, they move to 5th.
A good result there for Bermuda. Pulls them 5 clear of 8th place now.
Yep, good for them, good for them. Dominican Republic currently in 10th versus Cayman Islands in 9th. 2 big comeback teams.
Yep, Cayman Islands, a win will lift them level with Grenada at least. Maybe better if they win heavily.
Win for Dominican Republic, 4-2.
Yeah, puts them into 8th place now. Cuba need to respond, and they have a tough match in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who are still undefeated.
It's another draw.
Goodness me.
Suriname could go 4 ahead with a win over Dominica.
You've got to favour them, surely, haven't you?
Yep, 2-0. Suriname starting to pull away.
Yep, they are indeed. They're now also 11 points clear. So, potentially, if fixtures go their way, they could pretty much qualify after the next fixture.
Yep, Nicaragua, Grenada, I believe is the last match of fixture 9.
Yeah, both teams, well, Grenada with a win here can go into 5th. Will lift them above potentially, well, no, they need a big win, don't they? They could get one.
It lifts them above St. Lucia at least.
Yep.
To capitalise on St. Lucia. It's a win for Grenada. St. Lucia dropped 2 places because of the draw.
They do indeed. And now Puerto Rico are going to get 3 points and put them on to 12 as well as they take on Aruba, the Dud team.
Yeah, that'll move them up into 10th ahead of the Cayman Islands. So it's still very close in there. A couple of draws or losses for a team, and they could be out of it. A couple of big wins for a team, and they could be right in contention.
Absolutely. Get right in there.
Apart from Montserrat. Of course. Obviously. They're probably going to get knocked out in the next few fixtures, to be honest.
Yes, it's true.
Next up, it's Barbados, currently in 3rd. St. Lucia down in 7th now.
Yeah, win for Barbados here really puts a little bit of daylight between themselves and the chasing pack, doesn't it?
It does, but St. Lucia get the win over Barbados.
And Barbados, with defeat there, moves below Belize on goal difference.
Yep, who've got Guyana in 12th next.
A win for Belize here will, again, lift them into 2nd place.
It's another draw.
Well, that's a surprise for Guyana there. They move themselves into 11th.
Can Bermuda capitalise on Barbados' loss against Montserrat?
A big win for Bermuda here.
Of course they would.
And they got it. Look at that. They moved into 3rd place.
Yep, 6-0 win for Bermuda there.
Great result for Bermuda.
Cayman Islands. They've got Nicaragua, who are a couple of points behind them.
A win for Cayman Islands here. Again, it does lift them back into the conversation, doesn't it?
Yeah, back into contention there. It's a draw between the two. That's not going to be enough for either.
Not really, no.
Cuba, 8th place. Need a win here to try and keep up with the top 7, but they've got top place Suriname.
Suriname, who are still undefeated after 9 games.
It's a draw between the two.
Points dropped there for Suriname, and Cuba crucially get a point to lift them clear of Dominican Republic.
Yep, can St. Vincent start ringing in the league leaders?
A win for St. Vincent won't give them the lead itself, but it will put them only 2 points behind.
Yep, better than 4 like it was at the end of the last fixture. That's a draw as well.
Oh dear. Well, we've got a lot of teams that could go undefeated here.
Yep, Dominican Republic and Grenada going against each other.
Big crunch match here. Grenada with a win can go up, potentially with a massive win can go 4th. But a win at least will lift them above St. Lucia.
And then that puts a 4-point daylight between the top 7 and everyone else.
It does indeed.
It is a win for Grenada, 2-0.
Great win for Grenada, and it puts St. Lucia back into 7th place, but there's 4 points separating 7th to 8th, so they won't be sitting too uncomfortably, especially as they take on Aruba next up.
Yep, so they're going to be on 20 points, so St. Lucia looking a lot better now with a decent win here over Aruba.
Yeah, only 4 games to go as well. So they're looking pretty okay, St. Lucia. You got to think they've got to, they've got to be reeled back in, 7 points. It's not going to be easy.
Well, the Dud team, obviously the Dud team win at this point is going to give them obviously a lot of momentum. They just need to carry it for the rest of the league, and they could probably qualify. But if they start drawing and losing games, it could all go to pot.
Absolutely, very true.
Puerto Rico now, currently in 10th. Barbados, after that loss, is down in 6th.
They need to win here, don't they?
It's a win for Barbados. That moves them back up to 2nd.
I just realised St. Lucia are 3rd. What?
Yep. It's that close.
It's so close.
Belize versus Montserrat. Belize will go 2nd with a win. pretty obvious, really. Ow! 13!
13-0 for Belize. You know, if it wasn't for Lithuania or Comoros last week, Belize would be right up there.
That'd have been quite close to a record.
Yeah.
For this series, or for this year, essentially.
Yep.
Bermuda, currently
Sixth.
Sixth.
Yeah.
There they are. 6th versus Guyana in 12th. Guyana not out of it yet, but it's starting to get a bit dicey.
I will say a win here for Bermuda. Guyana cannot qualify outright. They can only become the dud team. I think. No. Yeah, no, I'm right. No, unless, it depends what Grenada do, doesn't it?
No, because that still leaves 12 points for Guyana to get.
Yeah, but goal difference, I mean.
Oh yeah, but they're goal difference. But they can still end up on 22.
Yeah, they could. They'll rely heavily on snookers.
Well, they'll need to do that now. Bermuda with the win puts them up into 3rd.
It does indeed. Good result there for Bermuda. Cayman Islands take on Suriname, the leaders at the moment, undefeated.
Yep, Cayman Islands, who produced some quite big victories in this so far. Not this time, though. Suriname win 1-0. It's all they needed.
It is indeed. And Cuba here, a win against Nicaragua, will put them a little bit closer in contention to the teams above them.
Yeah, there's a 6-point gap now between 7th and 8th. Cuba's closed it down, though, with a win.
Yep, 3 points separating them. A good 5-0 win there. And Dominica and Dominican Republic, the two Dominican teams, I suppose you could say, take each other on now.
Yep, Dominican Republic still in this. Dominica
aren't, really. Not really.
Well, they kind of are. And they win!
A huge win for Dominica against their Republic counterparts, and Dominican Republic now move 4 points behind even 8th.
Yep, now they're in with a chance, Dominica.
Yes.
St. Vincent, 6th place at the moment, versus Grenada in 7th.
A win here for St. Vincent will lift them back up into 3rd place, potentially, if they get a big win. Of course, that 13-0 win for Belize. Critical.
2-0 St. Vincent, they stay undefeated.
They do indeed. They move into 3rd place. 6 wins and 5 draws. Very good effort from St. Vincent. And they're going to get another 3 points.
They're going to get another 3 points here to put them even closer to Suriname with their Aruba dud match.
Absolutely. Good result for St. Vincent there. A double whammy, if you like. And I think this actually qualifies them.
I think it might... I think it depends, I think, at the end of the fixture.
Okay, yeah, correct.
I'm not too sure.
Correct.
Because it's so close between those from 2nd down to 7th, but from 7th to 8th, there's like a chasm, pretty much.
Yeah, and 8th to 9th is also a big chasm. Like, Cuba's all on its own, bless them, in 8th place.
Yeah, pretty much. Dominican Republic's fading at the moment. They take on Barbados, who are currently in 5th place.
They need a win here, really, Dominican Republic, otherwise it's looking a bit dicey.
Win for Barbados, 2-0.
Good result for Barbados. They move into 3rd place. Belize can leapfrog themselves, and St. Vincent, though, with a win against failing and drowning at this point Nicaragua.
It's a draw between the two. That's not good for Belize.
It's not, but I think that's pretty much knocked Nicaragua out at this stage.
Nearly. It depends on how Grenada does in their match.
They can get the dud.
Yeah. Bermuda now take on the league leaders, Suriname.
Suriname, of course, still undefeated. Bermuda only lost once.
Bermuda get the win, 4-3.
A great result for Bermuda, and Suriname taste defeat for the first time in the Americas Preliminary League.
That means that this gives St. Vincent, Barbados, Belize, Bermuda chances to take the league.
That has well and truly thrown a cat amongst the pigeons, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Cayman Islands in 11th versus Guyana, who are all the way down in 13th with their run close to over. Defeat
for either team pretty much seals their fate. So a win for either team, though, and then they're right back in it.
Win for Cayman Islands, up into 9th.
9th place puts them 5 points off that magical 7th. 2 points off being the dud team, and Cuba critically get Montserrat.
Yep, can Montserrat maybe get a draw here over Cuba? They won it!
Unbelievable! What a result for Montserrat!
What has happened with Cuba? That's let everyone in, and that means that Grenada and St. Lucia could start pulling away.
It does also mean as well, critically, that at the top of the league, Suriname have now qualified, as have St. Vincent, as has Bermuda and Barbados pretty much as well.
Yes, but they're still not safe from being the... Well, actually, no. Suriname is, and St. Vincent is, but Bermuda and Barbados not safe from being the dud team yet, but
close
essentially
enough.
A point settles it.
Yeah, and goal difference as well is in their favour currently.
Yep, definitely. Dominica, currently in 12th place, take on Puerto Rico in 11th. Big crunch match here.
If Puerto Rico win this, they go above Cayman Islands and 1 point behind Cuba.
Draw between the two is not enough at this stage.
Not for either team.
And speaking of either team, St. Lucia and Grenada now battle each other.
A win for Grenada here will lift them up to 23 points.
Essentially, the winner could be very close to qualification. Loser could be right in the mix. It's a draw between the two.
I'd say that probably favours St. Lucia a little bit more. Dominican Republic are going to get 3 points now.
Yep, that extra point could be all the difference. Dominican Republic move to 9th, one behind the dud.
But there's 5.
Cuba were lucky.
Yeah, 5 points behind though.
The teams above them drew.
Yeah, fortunate maybe because they really had an opportunity there. A win against Montserrat and they're right in there, but now, I mean that's
Montserrat with the rare 1-0 win over Cuba.
Cracking result, absolutely cracking result.
It might mean that Nicaragua might finish below Montserrat. Depends on how Montserrat do in the rest of their matches. They're only 3 behind.
Yes, true. I mean, the goal difference is in their favour, though, massively after, Montserrat got absolutely shit-mixed by Belize, but,
yeah.
We move.
St. Vincent now, currently 2nd, back now only a point behind Suriname versus Barbados, currently in 4th, both chasing the title.
Yeah, a win for either team will lift them top. A draw will put St. Vincent top for now.
Yep, and a draw qualifies Barbados as not being the dud. It's a win for Barbados, so they are definitely through.
And that's also inflicted the first defeat on St. Vincent. Look at that.
Yep, and they, Belize now, the only team that hasn't lost as of yet. But they got Suriname next. They could lose their undefeated run as well.
A win for Belize, though, will lift them above Suriname from 5th to 2nd.
Draw between the two. Belize keep their undefeated run intact.
They do indeed, and Barbados move down to 2nd on goal difference. In fact, on goals scored.
Yep, it's that close when it comes to the top for the title there. Nicaragua now versus Bermuda. Bermuda currently in 5th.
A win for Bermuda lifts them to the lead.
Yep, could leapfrog them to the top of the table. It has 3-0 Bermuda, the new league leaders.
Look at that, 3 teams tied on 28. And of course, if you remember last week, of course, Lithuania gave a perfect 45 and Malaysia a couple of weeks before that. So this is just showing how close it is.
Yeah, they all want it. They all want it. Cayman Islands will take on Montserrat, who's, I think, pretty much out. No, they can still be the dud.
For God's sake.
But they need to win every single game and have results go for them.
And heavy wins.
Now.
And heavy wins, yeah.
They're out. 6-0 Cayman Islands. Out go Montserrat.
Cayman Islands now move into 8th place and are within striking distance of Grenada as well.
Yeah, but can Cuba fire back against Guyana, who are also pretty much out of it? They can and move back up into 8th.
They move 1 point behind Grenada and with superior goal difference. Cuba have an opportunity here.
Yep, St. Lucia not far above Grenada. Take on Dominica, who are down in 12th, but still in with a shout. But a loss knocks them out. A loss knocks out Dominica here. They've won! They're still in it!
That's a bad result for St. Lucia. Now look at that. Cuba within 2 points and a game now.
Yep, Grenada, can they take advantage of St. Lucia there? They've got Puerto Rico, who, if they lose, can only be the dud.
Yeah, a massive match here for Puerto Rico to stay in the competition pretty much.
2-1 Puerto Rico!
Look how close it is now. Wow.
That gives Cuba a huge chance.
Wow.
Since both St. Lucia and Grenada both lost.
Massive results in game week 13 here. We start here game week 14. Nicaragua are going to move 6 clear of poor Montserrat as they get their 3 points against
Yeah,
Aruba.
but we do have to say goodbye to Guyana and Nicaragua. They've both been eliminated as well.
It's a shame. It's a shame for them. Spirited, though.
with two left.
It's it's all game on now, isn't it?
It is now game on.
All of a sudden,
from it being like 6 points between, like Cuba being all on their own, it's now every team for themselves for those vital spots. Every point is important. Every goal is important now as we get into the penultimate fixture.
Yeah, this is absolutely game on, isn't it? It's so exciting. And look at this now. Barbados and Suriname at top of the table. Title-winning clash, perhaps.
Yeah, both teams are qualified, but they'd love to win the league, wouldn't they? Win for Barbados, they go top!
They do for now. St. Vincent can keep them pegged back if they can beat Belize.
Yep, the unbeaten Belize. They've lost! St. Vincent in second.
And for the first time, after 13 fixtures, Belize defeated for the first time.
Yep, they had the longest winning run, or they had the longest undefeated streak, but it's all over now for them. At least they haven't even qualified yet. This could be bad for Belize. Suriname, Bermuda, St. Vincent and Barbados have all qualified, but Belize hasn't yet.
Not yet, and Dominican Republic here, they need a massive result here to stay in contention. They need to beat the only once defeated Bermuda, who Bermuda themselves could go top.
Yep, could go top with a win. It's a draw between the two.
It's probably a better result for Dominican Republic, but it does mean they cannot qualify in 7th place.
Yep, best they can do is dud. Cayman Islands, Puerto Rico, two of the teams right in the mix there. Winner has a shout. Loser goes.
A win for Cayman Islands here puts them in 7th place.
Yep. Win for Cayman Islands. Puerto Rico can only dud now. Actually, no, they're out.
Yeah, they're done. They've finished. That's it.
Puerto Rico out. Dominica still in with a chance. Cuba have got St. Lucia next.
This is a humongous crunch match because a win for Cuba lifts them above St. Lucia, and St. Lucia are in the danger zone. A win for St. Lucia, they actually qualify.
Win for Cuba.
This is going to be a nail-biter on the last day. Look at this.
It is Guyana now versus Dominica. Dominica in 12th. Still in with a chance, but they need to win this. No, they're out. They are gone. Dominica eliminated.
And Grenada get Montserrat. This is a huge opportunity for Grenada. They have to take it.
They do. 4-0 up in the 6th. St. Lucia down in the 8th now.
And the Cayman Islands down into 9th once again, despite that massive, massive win.
Yep. Belize have qualified. Luckily for them, but there are still a fair few still left in this. Obviously, Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico have been eliminated. And Suriname just get the last 3 points, but it might not be enough for them to actually win the title. They were 4 ahead at one point.
They were, but they will go top for now. They will lead at some point in the final game week, but whether they stay there or whether they drop down again, other results are going to depend on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think teams like Belize just needed... Not Belize.
Barbados.
Another one I'm thinking. What?
Barbados,
that's the one, yeah. Barbados. That just need a draw to go past them, so... Yeah, I mean, at the moment, Suriname are top, but Barbados could essentially win the league with a win here over Nicaragua.
Yep, it's in their hands. Barbados to win the league.
It's a draw! It's not over yet!
It's not, no. The inferior goal difference to both Bermuda and St. Vincent and the Grenadines opens the door for both.
Yep, Bermuda and St. Vincent have a chance now to snipe the league.
Wow, what an opportunity for both teams.
Belize, who are already through. Dominican Republic, who are already out.
Bit of a nothing game. Belize can't even move up a place.
Yep, nor can Dominican Republic. And it's a win for Belize. They'll finish off on 28, which I'd say is very respectable.
Look at this! For the title!
For the title, winner wins the championship. A draw gives Barbados the championship.
What a result this would be for either team.
Bermuda, St. Vincent. St. Vincent win the title!
What a story! St. Vincent and the Grenadines, by goal difference, wins the America's preliminary league.
Yep, St. Lucia have the Cayman Islands. This is such a big match for either.
A win for either of them will qualify them, I think. At least give them the dud. At least the dud.
More St. Lucia. Cayman Islands, though, do need results to go their way. to not be the dud. But yeah, essentially, winner qualifies. It's Cayman Islands!
They move into 6th place!
St. Lucia are out!
Oh, dearie me, St. Lucia. The Cayman Islands into 6th place for now, but it relies on other results, such as Cuba and Puerto Rico. Oh, it's not an easy one.
A draw for Cuba qualifies them, and not as the dud either.
It does indeed.
They just need a draw. They've got a win! They're through!
Dominica will take on Montserrat.
Yep, it's a nothing match, really. It's a win for Dominica, so they'll go above Dominican Republic, which I think they'll be happy about.
They will indeed. And our final match.
Grenada have Guyana.
A win or a draw for Grenada gives them a qualification spot. If they lose to the team again, they have won games, Guyana, but they're down in 14th. A loss means they finish 8th, and I think personally they deserve it if they lose it against Guyana.
It's a win for Grenada. Cayman Islands will be the dud.
Ah, such a shame. They fought back so well, but not enough to give them an automatic spot. But there are our final 8 teams for America.
So, after an incredibly hectic hour, we have our 15 teams here. In last place, 7 points, Montserrat.
They got to win. They got to win.
They got to win in a point.
They beat Cuba, would you believe? Of all teams to beat, they beat Cuba.
Yeah. And nearly cost Cuba their top 8 spot.
Yep, not quite enough.
14th place with 13 points is Guyana.
They started okay, didn't they, Guyana? But they kind of faded and fell away quite quickly.
Yeah. In 13th place with 14 points is Nicaragua. Previously was never in with it. It was never in it.
No, they were scrapping with Montserrat for a while, but they managed to pull away quite comfortably in the end, didn't they?
Yeah. Next, 12th with 16, Puerto Rico.
I think a respectable effort from Puerto Rico. 4 wins, 4 draws, 7 losses. I think they can't really complain.
Yeah. 11th place with 16 is Dominican Republic.
They started all right and they fell away, didn't they, Dominican Republic? To a point where they finished behind Dominica themselves.
Yeah.
Superior goal difference being the key against Puerto Rico.
Yep. While, in comparison, their rivals were pretty much at the bottom and then fought back. 18 points in 10th place, Dominica.
Yep, 5 wins, 3 draws, 7 defeats, and only a -3 goal difference, so very respectable, I think.
9th place with 21. They were in with a shout that entire time and flopped at the end, St. Lucia.
I think they were in the top 8 for every single match until the last one.
Yep, and they just faltered.
Yeah, down to 9th at the end.
Yep, 8th place with 23. They will be the dud, but a spirited comeback for the Cayman Islands.
Yeah, they nearly did it. I think that slow start really hampered them, but they racked up the wins as they went on and nearly made it, but 2 points off.
7th place with 25. A former dud team, it's Cuba.
A bit of a scare for Cuba. They think they probably should have done better than what they did. Obviously they lost to Montserrat, but hey, look, they made it through. That's all that matters.
Yep, 6th place with 26. Grenada.
Yeah, I think they did pretty well as well. I think they were kind of hovering around this kind of 9th to 6th area for the longest time, so fair play to them. They finished 6th in the end.
Yep. 5th place with 28. Belize.
Belize had the longest undefeated run and finished 5th. They only lost in game week 13 or 14, and even then, that was their only defeat. They drew 7, won 7, had the biggest win, they won 13-0, and they finished 5th. Crazy.
Yeah, decent result, I'd say, for Belize there.
Oh, yeah.
4th with 29, Bermuda.
Good team, Bermuda. They obviously did really well throughout, and 4th place is nothing to be sniffed at. Could have won it, but lost on the last day of the season.
3rd with 31, Suriname.
Probably should have won this, shouldn't they? They had the opportunity to, and they threw away a 4-point lead and ended up in 3rd place somehow.
Yeah, 2nd place. They came out of nowhere, this team. 32, Barbados.
Barbados with the most wins with 10. 3 defeats and 2 draws costing them in the end, and only missing out on the title by goal difference.
To the winners of the preliminary league for the Americas, with 32 points, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. There's the flag, there they are.
Beautiful. Blue and yellow again, look at that.
Blue and yellow, and a bit of green.
And a bit of green, yeah. And they will be the best team that come through the preliminary league for the Americas qualifiers in a month's time.
Yep, so they will join teams that barely made it past and didn't have to pre-qualify, like St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda, Guatemala, Trinidad and Tobago, and Haiti. But also, they'll be going up against teams like El Salvador, Colombia, Uruguay, Paraguay, Peru, Brazil, Mexico, Argentina, and the current America's champions, Chile.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating. But of course, next week, Chris, we're going back to Europe.
Yep, and it's time to get into the meat of the global trophy. We've eliminated about a fifth of the field, and I think it's about time to eliminate another 75% of the field. So over the next 4 weeks, we'll be taking 128 teams down to our final 32, kicking off with the European qualifiers.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see how our holders, our two-time holders, the Netherlands, fare. Of course, you know, they've won the last 2 back-to-back. That's how it is.
And also our current European champions, Romania, as well.
Yeah, of course. How can we forget? How can we forget Romania?
Yep, they will be trying to defend their title, and maybe England will go through or something.
Oh, don't be ridiculous, Chris. No, they will. I believe. I still believe they'll do it. I'm convinced.
Penalties will knock them out aside. I don't know, to be honest, maybe just all of them will come in one, or maybe this will be one of those moments where hell starts freezing over and England go through.
Imagine. First time since 2008, but we'll see that next week.
Yeah, next week, the European qualifiers. Will any former champions get knocked out? Will the current champions make it through? Will England actually make it through to one? Will Scotland produce some results? Who knows? Will Romania defend their title? We'll find out next week. We'll see you then.
Bye for now.